Hi guys, this is Reshwant and you're watching saiTutorials. Hope you guys are doing very well. And in this video, we are going to discuss about jar file. So basically, what is jar file? Jar file is a package which is compressed archive of the following files. So it might be a .class file, it might be a resource file, it might be a manifest. So in the previous videos, we already discussed about .class file. So what is a resource file? So resource file is something button. It might be any file except Java files. Okay, so if you consider, it might be an .xml file, it might be an JSON file, it might be an text file, it might be an properties file, it might be any file like audio, video, any files. So except Java files, it might be any file. Okay, and what is manifest file? So it's something button is kind of a text file which give more description for about the jar file. Okay, so we will see more about this manifest file at the end of the video. So what's basically jar file? We will see in our own words. So it's nothing but it's collection of some files under a single folder which is compressed. Okay, it is just like an zip file or tar file in the Linux. So what's abbreviation of the jar file? I mean jar. So it is stands for Java Archive. So these files are very important because without these files we can't even create a single file. I mean single application. So what's the usage like? What's the usage of jar files, or what's the purpose of jar file? So basically, we are using jar files for mainly two purposes. One is for transferring, second is for developing applications. So for transferring, how it will be useful? Suppose to create an application, it might take hardly like thousands of files, right? So after what we have to do is we have to compile into class file and we need to send to client to execute and run the application and get the output as expected. But it is highly impossible to send all the files individually because some of the files may be corrupted, some of the files may be missed while sending. So at the end of the client, the application won't run successfully. So what we are doing is to avoid that problem, we are we are keeping all the files, I mean all the required files under a single folder, and we are compressing and we are transferring the folder to the client, so he can run without any concern. So that's one usage. So what's for the on second is for the developing. So we will see one by one. So how to create a jar file? To create a jar file, this is the command we need to follow. Okay. So before creating of jar file, we need to have some Java files, and then we need to convert it to class files, right? So I already created two Java files. One is min.java, second is sample.java. So and these two files are interlinked right now. Oh, see, I slightly changed the code here. Okay. So what happening? This is my main code. I mean main file. So the Java flow will come to this file directly, and from here to it will go to sample.java and execute that code as well. Okay. So if you don't understand what I written, it's not a problem. We'll discuss later. So to compile, what we need to do first, we need to go to that path, right? Desktop. The desktop, I have Java codes folder, right? And here to execute, I mean to compile, we need to use Java compiler. So Java C. And what are the files I need to compile? One is main.java, second is sample.java. Okay, and hit enter. So now it's compiled. So we can see right now here. Now we have main.class and sample.class, which is given by the Java compiler. Okay, and now to create a jar file, we need to use jar.exe file. Okay, which is present inside the JDK. So if you see here, my program files, I have Java, and inside Java I have JDK, and inside JDK I have bin, and inside bin I have jar.exe. Yeah, see. So we have jar.exe. Okay. So I hope you guys know like how to execute the jar.exe, right? Just by file name jar. Okay. So this jar file might be used for a lot of functionalities. One is for creating, one is for extracting, second is for lot of we have a lot of things functionalities. So for that we know what you are doing is, but you need to only one functionality here. That's why we need to mention what functionality you need. For that, I just want to create a file. For that, we need to give cf. Okay, create file. And name of the file is I'm giving like demo. And what class files we need to put under the jar file? I'm putting only sample.class. Okay, and hit enter. Now if you see now right now I have demo jar file. Okay, So we can create a jar file into two ways. One is normal way, like what we create right now, and second is verbose mode. Verbose mode is nothing but the same thing we are doing, but uh, it will give like more information to us, like what's happening here and how the things are going there. Now I am running the same command. So what will happen is it will create a demo file. I mean a demo.jar again, but it will override the existing file. Okay. Now if what happening if here we are getting some information. Okay, this is because of the verbose mode. Here what happen is here the jar file is adding manifest file. So I just created some default file that is not even a manifest, so it is adding there. So we no need to maintain manifest file as of now. And second is sample class which we written. Okay, and if you see here, here something some information is there. So what is like a in is equal to something, out is equal to something, default is equal to something, right? So what does it mean? So this hunting button, as I told you before, like jar file is hunting button zip file. Like we are compressing some of the files, right? So while compression, what will happen? The size of the files will be decreased. So before compression, the actual size of the file is 396. After compression, now the file size is 281. So deflated means how much percentage of the file will be is reduced. Is nothing but an 29 like point something will be there, but it will give only around values. So here you get 29%. Okay. Now if you want to see like guys open okay this is the demo file jar, right? Now if I want to see like what are the content is there inside the demo file. Okay, for that what you need to use jar tf, okay, to display. Okay, and name of the jar file and hit enter. You see here. So what it is doing is first jar file is creating one folder like with the name meta inf, and inside meta inf it is creating manifest.mf. Okay, so here if you see previously it's added a manifest file, right? So the same manifest file it is creating under the meta inf folder. Okay, and this is the class file which we passing. So if I show you in the UI, this is demo, right? In can't open here. So we need to read the demo file. We need to some install some packages or some kind of external data. Okay. Right now in my system I don't install anything, so that's why we can't able to read or open the jar files. But here you can see properly, right? So this is a folder, and inside the folder we have meta manifest file, and again we have sampler class which we passed. So this is one thing. Second thing is suppose uh, always like a jar file is some like what we'll do is suppose if I delete this file right now. Okay, sampler class I'm deleting. Okay, right now we have one operation called of which is called extraction. Okay, which means it will like import the data from the demo file, I mean demo jar. Okay, what are we need to use xf. Xf means extract for x. Okay, and demo is my jar file. Now if I hit enter, now you see now I'm getting the meta inf and sample dot class as well. Okay, and under the meta inf I have manifest.mf. So inside manifest.mf it's like the jar file will create some basic data like what's the version and when it's created. Okay, I mean by what it is created. Okay, so I'm right now I'm deleting these files I don't need. Okay, this also I'm deleting, and this also I'm deleting. I don't want because I already have the sampler class is inside the demo, so I don't need. So this is how we are creating packages, I mean jar files, and we can pass to the our clients. So these are one of the purpose we discussed, right? Second is for developing. So for how it will be help in developing. So as you know, as I said before, to create any application, it might take a lot of files. Like suppose consider to create an application for me, it will take thousands files. Okay, but it's not mandatory that I only have to write. So I only write on 200 files. So remaining 800 files, I will ask someone to write, or I will install which is already existing. Okay. So for that, what will suppose I have my friend and who is help me like in developing the application. So what I do is I'll write only 500 files and I ask my friend to write remaining 500 files. So what do you do? After he write 500 files, he'll convert those files into class file and he'll send it to me as a jar file, right? So right now I have suppose consider this demo having 500 files, okay, and this is the main.java I written. So now what I have to do for that? After installation, I mean, after getting the jar file, we need to place inside the our path, and we need to compile, right? Because we have main.java, not class file. So for that, we need to compile, of course. For that, Java C and main, okay, dot Java. So now if I hit enter, let's see what will happen. See, I got some message like it's showing sample couldn't find string, right? So it means uh, Java couldn't find about what is sample here, okay? Because the sample class is present inside the jar file, not it's a normal. It's not a normal file like Java file. It's not class file, so you couldn't find. That's why it's throwing some error. What we need to is we need to use class path, okay? So what's class path basically? So we already seen path, right? Like in after installation of Java, we kept some path inside the environment variables. So what basically we are doing is we are telling the OS, I mean operating system, it might be Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, anything. So we are telling the system like where is Java, okay? That is nothing but a path. And what is class path? Class path is nothing but then we are telling the Java JDK. It might be Java compiler, it might be Java JVM, it might be anything. Okay, so we are telling to Java where our required class file is. Okay, that's nothing but then class path. So these are the only difference. What's path and class path? And I need to tell to Java where is my required class files. For that I need to mention CP means class path space and where in which folder, I mean in which jar I have demo. Okay, space now main.java. Now what will Java compiler will do? It will go to this class path and it will read all the class files and it will compile my main.java. So after and it's compiling main.java after reading of the class files, right? That's why Java already know what is sample. That's why you don't draw any exception. See, the compilation done properly. Now if I see again I have main.class. Okay. Now what I need to do? Now I need to do is to run the main.java. Okay. For that, what I do is main, right? So again, if I hit enter, again it will throw exception. What is saying? It will. So if you see here, the main class is executed properly, and when I and in which suppose like in the first line I'm executing the hello restaurant, so it execute properly, and in the second line I'm using this sample class. So that line it's throwing some exception. I couldn't find this class. Okay. So again, the same thing we need to do. We need to tell the Java where the class file is. Okay, demo and main. Okay. Also, we need to tell we need to mention like this in Windows. Why? Because here what happened is Java is running the files. If you don't mention class path, what it will do is it will only read the main file which is present inside the current folder. Okay. But when you don't give, but when you're giving class path and demo, the Java only read the demo jar file only. So you don't read any other files, even current file also. That time if you don't read current file, I mean current folder, so inside the folder only we have main class, right? So it, like of course you don't read. That's why we will throw exception. See, I couldn't find main. Okay, that's why what we have to do is we have to ask Java read demo and the current folder as well. Now if I run, see, we got output like hello restaurant saiTutorials, right? This is how we need to run the Java files, okay, by using class path. So now what happen is I uh, I asked my friend, and he sent me jar file. After putting my jar file in my current path, I executed that file with along with my file. So now the application is completed right now. So what I have to do is now I have to pass entire thing to my friend. I mean to my client. So the client can run the application without any concern, right? But what we need to do? We can't send the same format how we have. So again we need to convert all the like jar file with all the files. For that jar F create file, right? And I mean demo 2 I'll keep. Okay, this my new jar file, and inside jar file I need to keep demo jar and main class, right? So I want to execute this command in verbose mode, so I can get some information. It will be helpful to debug. See, again some manifest file is created, and again it's showing like this is the actual size of the demo.jar, and after compiling, I mean after compressing, the size of became 581. The same way main class. Initially it is 469, and after compression it became 327. So you see here now we have demo 2. Okay, so inside demo 2 we have all the required things to run the application. So to display TF demo 2. See, now we have everything. Okay, now how to run? We can't run like by using class path. Okay, because there is no main outside the file. So then how we can run? So to run jar file, we need to use java hyphen jar space the name of the jar file and hit enter. Now after hitting enter, we'll see what we'll get. It throws some exception again. I mean it's some kind of error only. So it's throwing like no main manifest attribute. So what is basically saying? So initially I told you what is manifest, right? Manifest is nothing but an some kind of description about the jar file. So inside jar file, I have a lot of files. So right now I have like because this is a sample project, I have only two files. But in real time, it might be in like hundreds of files and hundreds of jar files. Okay, that time how Java know from where to start? Of course, we don't know, right? So for that, you need to mention in which file it has to go and from where it needs to execute. So we need to create one manifest file for that. And inside manifest file, we need to mention from where to start. For that, we need to give main class. Okay, and main is my class name, right? And uh, you guys remember, right? Like previously we given class path as well because remaining files, some like sample class is present inside the demo jar file. That's why we given the class path. So here also we need to give class path. Okay, and file name is demo. Okay, and save. So uh, while creating manifest file, you need to be very careful because like this only we need to give. You should not change any uppercase, lower cases, or even you should not give the space even. Okay, so if you give the space like this, the Java does not consider this file as a manifest file and does not read, and you will throw the same exception again. So you should not keep any space here. Okay, so I'm saving. After saying what I do, again I need to keep this manifest file inside the jar file, right? So again I'm creating one jar file, jar create file. I'm keeping the same name, so it will override my old file. I need to keep them. I mean, I want to create this file. I mean this demo 2 with manifest. That's why we need to give CFM. M stands for manifest. Okay. So name of the jar file or manifest file name dot txt. Okay. Space. I need to keep demo jar file as well as my vendor class. Hit enter. Okay. Now it created. Now you can see it properly here. Demo 2. So now what I done is I'll give this demo to jar file to my clients. So what my clients will do is they'll simply execute this command. Sorry, there might be some error here. Okay, okay. Now understood. So there are actually three rules. One is you need to mention. So one is you need to be careful with the case sensitives. So second is the space. So you should not give the space here like this. Okay. And third thing is you need to give one extra line. Okay. So even though I don't have any content, like even though I'm giving one extra line here. Okay. And save because this is the mandatory convention. Then only the Java will consider this file as a manifest. Okay. Actually, I forgot that new line. That's why this file is not considered as an manifest file. So again, I'm creating the same command. Now again, I'm running. See, now I got the actual output. Okay. So these the usage of the jar files. Okay. So in real time, uh, when jar file like how jar files will be have So to get on any application in like a web application, any desktop application, anything. So only business logic itself not enough. So we need to give like some frameworks we need, some database we need, right, to store the data. For that we need to have some kind of jar files, like which is already written by someone, and we are using that one. Okay. So these are the jar files are the example. So one is MySQL connector to connect the MySQL, and the log4j.jar. This nothing button like for debugging purpose we will use these logs. Okay. And second third thing is like Spring Core. This nothing button to create Spring application. We will use this jar file and cell name server. Like it is kind of like unit test. I mean testing purpose. Okay. So like this we will use all these things. I hope you guys are now understand about jar file deeply, right? So if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe.